So, the fight back now of our party gathers speed and gathers pace.
I think the Labour Party's just drifted too far right, and to be honest, they've been like soft Tories.
It doesn't have to be unfair. Poverty isn't inevitable. Things can, and they will, change. Thank you very much.
I think he's an absolute idiot. I think it's the worst thing the Labour Party's ever done.
John! See you!
So why come then to a seat in a place like this? Well, Derby North is one really for the true political geeks. If you look at an electoral map of the UK, you'll see right in the middle here, among this sea of blue Conservative seats, are little patches of red, which generally tend to be smaller urban areas. This one here right in the centre is Derby. Derby South is a red Labour seat. Derby North, though, went blue Conservative in the last general election. And that was really unexpected. It was by the tightest of margins. The Conservatives won by just 41 votes on the third recount. And that meant this woman here, Amanda Soloway, is now the sitting MP. She's Conservative, and she took the seat off of this man. This is Chris Williamson, who was the sitting Labour MP since 2010.
In 500 metres, turn left onto the cockpit.
This is where he's going to be, I think. Go out for a guy with a blue hat. Yeah, he's got a blue hat, though.
Turn left.
There he is.
So if you could just go down Sir Frank Whittle Way.
Last exit up that way.
Yeah, last exit, yeah. Certainly we lost support to UKIP. People felt desperate and voted for UKIP as a protest. And we also lost out to the Green Party. And I think the Labour Party were putting forward a very contradictory message. We were saying that we were going to continue with spending cuts, although we weren't going to make as many cuts.
And how would Jeremy Corbyn have changed that in your mind?
Well, I think if Jeremy had been the leader, I would have won Derby North by a fairly handsome margin.
It would have made that much difference?
I'm absolutely certain it would. We wouldn't have lost the votes to the Green Party. The Green Party may not have even stood against us. And I don't think we'd have lost the votes that we did to UKIP. And I think more people would have been inspired to go out and vote. So I fully would have expected to have won in those circumstances by 7 or 8 or 9,000.
What about the argument that the Labour Party as a whole was too left-wing in the last election?
I don't accept that at all. I mean, I think there was. I mean, the good things which could be, portrayed as left-wing, I think, were the popular policies that we didn't do enough to promote. And I think people saw the Labour Party as a pale imitation of the Conservatives, because we said that we would continue with funding cuts. You want to go just left here?
Need to go left.
Yeah, go left. Always go left. Got to say then, all the best.
See you. Nice to meet you.
And you. Bye-bye.
We made our way next to a well-off, leafier part of the city to speak to families and dog walkers out in the autumn sun. We're not pretending this is a scientific way of judging public opinion. It's just a snapshot.
I can see you will appeal to a lot of people that think the Labour Party's just drifted too far right, and to be honest, they've been like soft Tories. But whether it's too far left, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I hope he does well. It's a refreshing. It brings something different to politics now. A lot of the youngsters don't necessarily vote, so it might make a change and get more people involved.
Do you think he can win in a place like this?
Very doubtful.
I actually begin to think, well, maybe he's actually talking a bit of sense, and he might be a breath of fresh air, saying about the benefits cap. Maybe if there was sort of more affordable for rents, people wouldn't have to be on the benefit so much.
And could Jeremy Corbyn potentially convince you to vote Labour next time around?
I think up to yesterday I was just whatever. But after yesterday, listening to him and looking at his face, and he did answer the questions, which most politicians avoid, I think there could be a streak of him being genuine.
I think he's an absolute idiot. I think it's the worst thing the Labour Party's ever done. because he's almost as bad as Nicholas Farage. The same sort of wacky stuff, and the way Labour's going at the moment, they need someone steady to actually keep them level. But some of the things he's coming out with, like he's been seen not to sing the national anthem. To me, you can't do that.
Exit the roundabout onto Broadway. Continue on Broadway for 1 kilometre.
Next stop then, we're driving towards the university in Derby. It's a big place, it's about 20,000 odd students, so it can make a big difference to whoever wins this seat, as it's so close. We're going to go and see if already there's a big groundswell of support for Jeremy Corbyn and his leadership of the Labour Party. Excuse me guys, you've got a second. We're just doing a film for the BBC about Jeremy Corbyn. If I said Jeremy Corbyn to you, is much enthusiasm for...
No, not really.
No huge enthusiasm for Jeremy Corbyn here then,
Nobody.
really?
I ain't got a clue who he is,
No,
personally,
no.
We're doing a report for the BBC about Jeremy Corbyn.
I don't know who he is.
You don't know who he is?
No.
New Labour leader?
No, I don't know.
White beard?
No,
Doesn't mean anything to you at all?
No,
Okay,
sorry.
thanks anyway. So I want to ask students if there's a sort of big groundswell of support about Jeremy Corbyn at the
I love
moment.
Jeremy.
You love
Yeah,
Jeremy?
I really love Jeremy.
Someone who loves Jeremy?
Yeah, I love Jeremy. So, he's, for me, he kind of embodies exactly what Labour should be. He's kind of old Labour, but new policies as well. I like his policies. And, I was a member of the Liberal Democrat Party. I've completely changed now, so...
And so you would now consider a vote?
Yeah, I would consider a vote for Labour. In fact, I voted for Labour in our by-elections yesterday. So.
And how about you?
I'm a Tory, sorry.
So this part of Derby is a little bit different. It's all terraced houses and people jogging around the park in the evening. We've just been down to the hairdressers down the corner. No one really wanted to speak to us on camera, but off camera everyone's saying it's just a bit too early to make their minds up about Jeremy Corbyn at the moment, which, seeing as he's been Labour leader for just 2 weeks, you'd imagine is probably the case. We're here because we're going to meet someone who's voted for pretty much every different party over the last 10-15 years, just to see what she makes of Jeremy Corbyn as a leader and whether what he has to say can win someone like that back to Labour. Jo Beck, a single mum with a full-time job in nearby Nottingham, voted for Tony Blair in '97, Conservative in 2010, then, fed up with both major parties, voted UKIP earlier this year.
I think Jeremy Corbyn seems to be a bit of a throwback to the past. He does seem quite an honest chap, and I do quite like some of his views as well, but he also seems to be the sort of person where the country wouldn't be very secure in his hands, I feel.
So when you look at his policies, what kind of appeals to you that you've seen so far?
I like the idea of nationalising the railways simply because I don't drive. Things like the electricity and gas, things like that, I'd quite like those to be nationalised again because they're just extortionately expensive, to be honest with you.
So what's he doing wrong then? If his policies are something that you feel you can agree with, what's the missing part?
On the day he was elected, for me personally, it was because he went to go and join the refugee march, and my personal view is I don't agree with that.
So immigration is a big issue for you?
For you, that's one of the reasons I voted for UKIP.
The overall view in the bar is mixed that night, with most people happy to wait before making up their minds.
He engages with people, and he's going to engage with younger people, which is what he's already said he's going to do, and people have responded to that.
I just think it's a little bit like when they selected Peter Capaldi to be the new Doctor Who. I think he's an older guy, give him a chance.
Just one bar in one city then, but in 5 years' time, voters in just a handful of close marginal seats like this will decide if Jeremy Corbyn is the right person to lead the country for real.